Ladies and gentlemen, it's finally here, week 1 of the NFL season. I'm going to give my official NFL score predictions for every game, starting with the epic Thursday night game. It's going to be the Bills traveling to take on the Super Bowl champions, the LA Rams. And guys, full disclosure, a lot of these games flip a coin. Let's be real. It's very tough to predict these week 1 games, but I'm going to be doing my best. It's the Bills minus 2.5 at the Rams. And I do have the Bills winning this game 31-26. I love the over. There's going to be a lot of points. Goodell's going to push for a lot of points in this game. He wants it to be a spectacle the first game of the season. It's Matt Stafford, maybe the arm issue. We'll see. Going up against Josh Allen. Josh Allen, the MVP favorite. We know that, of course. But I just think the Bills, they're on a mission this year. Unfinished business. The Rams coming off the Super Bowl. Maybe a little bit lax early on. The Bills get it done on the road. Huge road win. 31-26 on Thursday Night Football. Let's move to the 1 o'clock window. It is the Cleveland Browns kicking off their season at the Carolina Panthers with Jacoby Brissett starting, going up against Baker Mayfield. Basically a movie script. Baker starting against the Browns, his first game. Pretty crazy. Carolina 2.5-point favorites. And guys, for me, it's tough to get over the fact this is Jacoby Brissett. And I think Jacoby Brissett can win some games with this Browns roster. But if you're the Panthers, you have to make the Browns completely one-dimensional. You've got Amari Cooper, but then after that, there's a lot of unknowns at the receiver position. I love David Bell, but he's a third-round pick, and he's a rookie, playing in his first game. It's going to be tough for the Browns to really get their passing offense going, especially if Carolina takes away the run, which I think they will. And I do think the Browns certainly have a better roster, but I can't get it out of my head. The Panthers are going to make the Browns and make Jacoby Brissett beat them through the air. And then with Carolina, very underrated offense in my opinion. Of course, Baker Mayfield, he had the injury last year, week 2. He should be more healthy. They've got DJ Moore. They've got Robbie Anderson. They've got a healthy Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield. There are some weapons on that team, maybe even Terrence Marshall as well. I like the Panthers at home, lower scoring game. The under ends up hitting. That is my opinion on that. Moving on, next we've got New Orleans at Atlanta. Atlanta, of course, just horrible this year. They will be starting Marcus Mariota, probably winning 3 or 4 games, and then picking Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. New Orleans, they've got 500 written all over them. I don't think New Orleans is going to be that good. Probably 8 or 9 wins. It'll be interesting. The tandem of hopefully a healthy Michael Thomas and Chris Olave. And I do have New Orleans winning this game 27-13. Should not be a close game in my opinion. Once again, Atlanta, they're just not a good team. Overall, they're just not a good team. They are at home, but even still, I like New Orleans to get this win 27-13 in week 1. Next, we've got the San Francisco 49ers traveling cross-country to take on the Chicago Bears, and I love the 49ers this year. They are a dark horse Super Bowl pick. I'm fully invested into Trey Lance, and I also love Justin Fields. But unfortunately, at this point in Justin's career, the Bears haven't gotten him any weapons. It's so sad. You got to get your young quarterback some help. Give me the 49ers. They are loaded everywhere. The only question would be, is Trey Lance the real deal? On that defense, you've got a superstar pass rusher, possibly the defensive player of the year this year in Nick Bosa. And then how about Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle back healthy on the offense? Also Trey Lance and his running ability. I've got it at 26-14. Justin Fields, love him as a quarterback. I think he's going to be a star, but just very early in his career and not a lot of help outside of Darryl Mooney. So I have this one with San Francisco covering the spread, getting the win on the road. I think the over-under for this game is like 41. So they are expecting a lower scoring game. So am I. Next, we've got a divisional matchup. It's going to be the Steelers and Mitch Trubisky, or I guess Mitchell Trubisky, traveling to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. A lot of people think the Bengals are going to have a down year this year. I'm expecting probably a wild card for Cincinnati. And then in this matchup, I think it's going to be closer than people think, but Cincinnati will win it. And I like the over hitting on this game, 27-24. You know, Cincinnati is that kind of that team that we didn't expect them to make the Super Bowl. They're really young. How will they handle success now after making the Super Bowl last year? Not going to say it was a fluke run, but I believe they had 3 straight one-score playoff wins, something like that. They still are a really good team. You've got Jamar Chase. You've got T. Higgins. You've got Tyler Boyd. You've got Joe Mixon. Joe Burrow we're expecting to get even better. So this Cincinnati team should be good. And then Daxton Hill, a really good defender rookie to watch out for Cincinnati. They drafted him. I've got them beating Pittsburgh. As for Pittsburgh, I'm thinking Kenny Pickett is starting by week 5. I don't know really why they went with Mitchell Trubisky. It just does not make sense to me. Kenny Pickett is old for a rookie. If I was Pittsburgh, I would want to get him as much playing time as possible, knowing this is kind of a rebuild, retool, 7-win type season. Get Kenny Pickett as much playing time, and then next year, you'll be ready. You've already got a good offensive nucleus with Najee Harris and Deontay Johnson, along with Chase Claypool. How about George Pickens looking really well in the preseason? So this team has weapons. Kenny Pickett should be starting relatively soon. I was surprised they went with Trubisky after the way Kenny Pickett played in the preseason. Next game we've got, it's going to be Philadelphia traveling to Detroit. And I will say it was a little bit tempting to make this my big upset, because normally week 1 every year in the NFL, there is one major crazy upset that no one sees coming. I guess Philadelphia is only -4, but I do have Philadelphia winning this game. I like higher scoring game. I love the over in this game in a dome. You've got Jalen Hurts, also A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders back healthy. I like that offense going up against Detroit. And then as for Detroit, this is a team that I really love what Detroit is doing. You've got a guy like Jeff Okudah, who I think is going to be the comeback player of the year on the defensive side of the ball. Aiden Hutchinson, of course, the number 2 overall pick. But then you take a look at their offense. All they really need is a quarterback. Once they get Jameson Williams back, the speedster, you've already got Amon-Ra St. Brown. DJ Chark is decent. You've got DeAndre Swift out of the backfield. This is a really, really loaded offense. They just need a quarterback. I think they get the quarterback in the next draft. They will be going with Jared Goff. I expect this to be Jared Goff's last year as an NFL starter, personally. And I have Philadelphia winning that. Next, we've got flip a coin on this one. It's going to be New England going to Miami. And I believe I did use the reverse. So I used the reverse psychology method here. Normally, Bill Belichick never wins in Miami. He's due, right? He's due for a win. I understand the whole thing with Miami. I love Tua. They've got Tyreek Hill now, Jalen Waddle. You've still got, Mike Gesicki. They have some legitimate weapons. But it's just a thing where it's Bill Belichick. You would expect him to beat Miami in Miami at some point. It's going to be a very, very close game. If there was one game I would say that would be kind of a last-second field goal type game, it would be this one. Very evenly matched team. Miami's a field goal favorite, which basically means these teams are even. And then the ESPN FPI gives New England a 51% chance. So probably the most even matchup in division AFC East game of the week. And I do have New England possibly winning on a walk-off field goal. Mac Jones going into a sophomore season, probably going to improve a little bit. Although I don't love the weapons they've given him. Mac Jones really needs some more weapons there in New England. The next game, it's going to be Baltimore and Lamar Jackson traveling to New York and to take on the Jets at MetLife. This is another 1 o'clock game. Baltimore sitting at 7-point favorites. We will see if the contract gets worked out between Lamar and the Ravens. But I do like the Ravens to win this game. Maybe a little more boring, 27-17. I did see that Zach Wilson looks like he's probably going to play in this game. So we had that kind of injury. People thought it was season ending. It did look like it was season ending, but he should be able to play. Baltimore, with J.K. Dobbins, I mean, we'll see. You would hope he would be back and healthy considering he suffered the major injury over a year ago. But there's some concerns about him. Maybe Mike Davis might lead that backfield. That's not a good sign if you're Baltimore. But I love what Baltimore did in the draft, especially with Kyle Hamilton, getting him at pick number 14. Such amazing value. And Lamar Jackson, whether the contract gets worked out or not, he's going to be extremely motivated to come and beat a bad Jets team after being injured for much of last season. The next game we've got, it's going to be Jacksonville. This is an AFC, NFC. It's Jacksonville at the Washington Commanders. And I guess you could say this is probably my one big upset, although Washington is only 3-point favorites. I do have Jacksonville winning this game 20-17. The new look offense overall. To me, this is just going to be a really sloppy game. We will see how improved Trevor Lawrence is. Washington, they are without Chase Young, unfortunately. I'm sure they're hoping to get him back, after those first 4 games. Carson Wentz just doesn't do it for me. I'm sorry, he really doesn't. They got to find an actual solution at the quarterback position. Jacksonville, they're revamped. Didn't like the Trayvon Walker pick, number 1 overall. But we'll see how well they can do with Christian Kirk. They paid a lot of money to get Christian Kirk, and I've got them kind of maybe a little bit of an upset starting the year off 1-0. The next game, it's going to be Indianapolis traveling to Houston to take on a hapless Texans team. And I don't know why the Houston Texans scored already showed up, but I do have the final score being 32-14, a big blowout. I love the Colts, especially against these bad teams. Matt Ryan possibly having a little bit of a resurgence this year. In my opinion, Indianapolis is 8-point favorites. Hammer them. They're going to crush Houston, who has basically no one. And they're starting Davis Mills. And I'm sure, they've got 2 first-round picks over the next few years, having the Browns' first-round pick from the Deshaun Watson trade. They are going to try and get a top quarterback. They're probably going to win 3 or 4 games. I've got the Colts, great defense, and an offense that I think is going to be very, very good. Really good offensive line, superstar running back with Jonathan Taylor. I've got them winning 32-14. And then we're on to the 4:25 games, a very odd 4 o'clock game in Tennessee. I'm surprised there's no 4:05 games. That disappoints me a little bit. I like the idea of kind of having the 4:05 games be kicked off mid-first quarter, and then you get hit with the 4:25 games. But they're only doing 4:25 games in week 1, and it is going to be Tennessee opening up at home against Daniel Jones. Saquon Barkley is healthy, and the New York Giants. And guys, I think if there's any game for the under to be a lock, it's this one. The under is certainly hitting. This is Ryan Tannehill versus Daniel Jones. Ryan Tannehill loses A.J. Brown. They replace him with Treylon Burks. I think Treylon Burks is going to be a major bust. And then the Giants sticking with Daniel Jones for one last year. Very low scoring game. I've got Tennessee winning on a walk-off field goal. Kind of a weird score, 19-16. The next 4:25 game, Aaron Rodgers and that pathetic wide receiver core of the Green Bay Packers traveling to Minnesota to take on Kirk Cousins and the Vikings. And I do have the Vikings winning this game by a point. Love Justin Jefferson this year. I think he has a chance at Offensive Player of the Year. Personally, they've also got Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, very good offense. And then for the Packers, I've said it for a while. I just don't know what Aaron Rodgers was thinking staying with Green Bay. He's old, he's getting up there in age. You need to get him legitimate veteran help. Sammy Watkins is not going to get it done, man. He's just not. You lose Devontae Adams. I guess Devontae Adams wanted out. He wanted to play with Derek Carr, whatever, or they didn't want to pay him. Still, with Green Bay, you have to help. You have 2 first-round picks. You use both of them on defense. You've got to help Aaron Rodgers at this age out. They didn't do that. And I've got Minnesota, who's a solid team at home. I mean, Green Bay's only 1.5-point favorites. I have Minnesota winning 24-23. Very interesting matchup here. We've got Patrick Mahomes traveling to the desert to take on Kyler Murray. He got the new contract, of course. And in this one, I do have higher scoring game. Mahomes, even without Tyreek Hill, getting it done 34-27. They've got a rookie, Sky Moore, who should fill in decently. Also, Juju Smith-Schuster, along with still having Travis Kelce. They should be fine, in my opinion, the Chiefs, with Andy Reid beating the Arizona Cardinals. And we'll see how Kyler does without DeAndre Hopkins those first 6 weeks. But I do have the Chiefs getting the first win. We've got a very, very good AFC West matchup. It is the Raiders traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. A little surprised the Chargers are only 3-point favorites. I would have figured the line would have been about 5. The Chargers would be about 5-point favorites. I have this game, Chargers winning pretty easily, 38-28. The Chargers are just loaded. The question is, can they stay healthy? You take a look, Derwin James, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack on the defensive side of the ball, and then you've got Justin Herbert, who's had a ridiculous start to his career. He's improved just so much over the first 2 years after being amazing as a rookie. And then you've still got a really good wide receiver core along with Austin Eckler out of the backfield. The Raiders, they certainly have weapons. You've got Renfro, you've got Devontae Adams, you've got Darren Waller, who's back and who's healthy. But I do like the Chargers, as long as they're healthy, to win this game and cover the 3-point spread. I know it's risky because the Chargers always play close games. It's always a field goal, and the Raiders are a good team. But week 1, as long as they're healthy, I like them winning this game by 10 points, and I like the over to hit in that one. We've got the Sunday Night Football game. It is going to be Tom Brady, who's back for his 46th season, traveling to Dallas to take on the Cowboys in that kind of a weird situation with Dallas and their wide receiver core suddenly very thin with the Michael Gallup injury, losing Amari Cooper. Surprising how quickly that can turn. Overall, this game, I do have the Bucs winning 28-25. I saw Chris Godwin might actually play week 1, or at least he wasn't ruled out. That would be huge for the Bucs. To me, this is going to be a very competitive, really well-played Sunday Night Football game, with Tom Brady coming out on top 28-25 over a Dallas team that certainly Micah Parsons is a beast. The defense, a little bit inconsistent. They forced a bunch of turnovers last year. I don't know if you can expect that again this year. As for their offense, I think you got to roll with Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard at this point in his career is better than Zeke. In my opinion, Zeke is more of a compliment. We'll see if they do that. Pollard should be the lead back at this point in his career, just my opinion. And then the Monday night game, it is Russell Wilson traveling back to take on Seattle. The first game, he's not playing for Seattle, he's playing against Seattle. Same thing with Baker Mayfield. So interesting situations, but I love Denver in this game. I can't believe they're only -6. You're facing Geno Smith. You're facing a Seattle team that is basically a shell of itself. I've got it at 31-13. I think Jerry Jeudy catches 2 touchdowns in this game and announces himself as a fantasy wide receiver number 1. 31-13. I'm shocked. Well, I shouldn't say I'm shocked. Denver's on the road. It's week 1. Seattle's a very tough place to play. But overall, I love the value. Denver -6. Russell Wilson trying to prove something. His first game against Seattle, playing for Denver. And then I just love Denver. Very solid defense. And then a really underrated wide receiver core with Jeudy and Courtland Sutton, in my opinion. So, guys, those are my official Week 1 picks. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. That link is always in the description for more updates. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.